Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrente a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre al app para llevarte ofertas antes del cutoff. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America NA, member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
You're listening to...
They're going to call it a hard foul. They're going to call it a hard
foul. Brought to you by the what, Mike?
Fans First Sports Network, bitch.
And this is coming to you directly after the Celtics victory over the Orlando Magic in Game 2. A tough, hard-nosed, gritty victory. Mike, what was this final score? I should have it right in front of me. It was like 105 or
109 to 100.
109-100. And that score kind of encapsulates where the lead was all game. It felt like it was 6-13, somewhere in that range. Every time it looked like the Celtics might be able to pull away. Banchero or Wagner made a big shot and made a big pass, so it led to a big shot. So credit to the Magic for staying in this. But Mike, my opening take here is I thought this was a gritty championship performance. We're going to talk about Jayson Tatum's injury later, but you're without your best player, and you have struggled all season long when he hasn't been on the floor, especially against good opponents. Earlier in the season against this very same Magic team, you had a Celtics team that dominated the first half and then just got lulled to sleep without Tatum on the floor and lost the game. And you've seen it when he's come out to start the fourth. You've seen it when he's come out, depending on how Missoula substitutes in the first half. This team has just really struggled. Tonight you had Jaylen Brown was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
All-star, all-NBA type performance, championship type performance. And then you had a bunch of guys, whether it was KP, White, Holiday, Pritchard, whomever, that really stepped up and contributed to help lead this team to a really nice win. This was one of my favorite games of the season so far. Just a really nice win. That's my open take.
Yeah, any win in the postseason without Jayson Tatum, which obviously has never been available because he always plays, is a big win. They didn't have their closer. They didn't have their best playmaker. They didn't have one of their key players on the defensive end, and I think you saw that impact a little bit in the first half without him out there on the defensive end, especially at the end of that second quarter. Yeah, it's a great win. I mean, Brown played great all over the floor as a playmaker, as shooting the basketball, going to the rim, rebounding. He was just doing it all, really from the start of the game right to the end. And in my mind, he was the difference maker. Because the Celtics early on were missing a lot of easy looks, a lot of open threes, layups, free throws. Porzingis took a while to find his offense.
They would do it later in the game too. It wasn't just early on. They missed a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Porzingis missed a lot of point blank shots. Porzingis has played really well, especially on the defensive end, but his shooting has been atrocious. So it'll be nice to see him hit a couple threes, maybe down in Orlando to get going. They need that, especially early in games. That's missing right now, and I think it's hurting the flow of the offense because he usually softens up the defense with a couple clean looks.
But in some ways, Mike, isn't this better? Like, because those shots can come. The question has always been like about his grit and toughness, fairly or unfairly throughout his career.
Yeah, no, definitely.
He's shown that, like, he's been a menace on defense, block steals. He was great on the glass tonight. That was my biggest concern coming in. How are they going to rebound without Tatum? And he was a big reason why they were so good.
And I think these first two games, they've definitely been way more locked in the second half than the first half. Their second quarters have been really bad in the series. I think in the first half, you saw a lot of defensive breakdowns with double teaming guys when they didn't have to, leaving shooters open. And I thought in the second half they picked up the pace of play. They really dictated the pace of play. They dictated the rebounding game where they dominated the glass. And I think in both games they really it was a story of two halves. And that's been the difference. They're clearly the better team. Orlando is extremely limited. I mean, Orlando's paying Caldwell Pope over $20 million a year, Jim. And he's had an absolute, really tough series. Quite honestly, he's giving them nothing. They had Wendell Carter giving them something tonight, but they have no spacing because these guys can't hit outside shots, and that's a huge advantage to the Celtics. And one thing I'm taking from the series is I think the defense from Orlando is going to prepare Boston for the rest of the playoffs. I don't think they're going to see a tougher half-court matchup taking away the three-point shot than they're seeing right now. So it's good to see Celtics win different ways, as you have to. And being up 2-0 with Tatum hurt, Jim, there's really no better narrative going into Orlando because there's no pressure to play him. If he's not right, sit him.
Yeah. I think as soon as he's ready to go, he's going to force his way out there. So we'll see. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I will say, so you brought up how the Celtics much better in the second half than the first half. And that's absolutely true. And then I think they had 14 threes going into halftime or somewhere around that number. They finished with 37. So obviously shot a lot more threes. Maybe I think the number was a little higher than that in the first half. It still shot.
They had 17 attempts. They were 4 for 17 at halftime. So they shot 23.
So they shot 23s, and it felt more in the flow of things. I think the difference for me in these two games, that first game when the Celtics pulled out that third quarter lead and they went up, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, 12 in game one, I felt like the game was over. I was watching the Celtics play Celtics basketball. They were playing on offense. I didn't feel like Orlando could really do anything to take away what the Celtics wanted to do. It was more if the Celtics were going to make or miss it.
Didn't feel that way tonight.
No, and then early on, they got going really early. We talked about it in the last pod, and a lot of that was because you have Tatum on the floor. It just opens things up when he's on the floor. Tonight, they needed guys to make plays. They needed guys to make some tough shots. White made a couple really big, tough contested threes.
In the fourth quarter, yeah.
I mean, Brown with hard drives, through contact and finishing. Pritchard, that and one play. I mean, you needed guys over and over and over again to just make plays because your best player was out. And they did it. And that's what I mean. It shows like the championship medal. It like when it was nut crunching time, they were right there. And they were able they performed and they got it done. And it was a multitude of guys. I mean, Brown was clearly the best, but you had a multitude of guys that were able to step up in different moments and make plays. And I thought that was very good. And I thought the defense, I know, limited offensive team in Orlando. I thought the defense was solid. They executed their game plan. They held them really to one shot most of the time. They guarded Wagner and Banchero one-on-one. They didn't let the other guys beat them. Carter, give him all the credit in the world. He made plays when he had the opportunity. But I just thought it was a well-executed game plan. It looked like a really well-coached team, a team that's, lives for these moments kind of now. And I just was really impressed. I think this bodes well for them assuming, Tatum can get close to himself, I think this bodes well for them going forward.
Yeah, I mean they're going to need Tatum, but I do too, Jim, and I also think that Orlando's two superstars. I mean, they are really
Talk
good.
about them, yeah.
Yeah, they are really good. Wagner's third quarter was really impressive. He was really the one keeping them in the game, and then Banchero in that fourth quarter. I mean, he was taking over on both ends. They were trying to do the rim runs with Luke Cornett, and he was taking that away. Then down the other end, he was making every single play offensively, to the point where I was a little concerned. I think they got it down to 4 or 5 in the fourth, and it was kind of back and forth for a little bit. But they're just surrounded by no talent. They don't seem like they're analytically driven at all in Orlando. And I don't like the over analytics in the game, but I just feel like that franchise forever hasn't used it at all on the offensive end. They're always tough defensively, but they run absolutely no sets on offense. They run no offense. And that's why I feel like if Tatum even is, good to go, but he's still injured, like, I don't know if you need to play him. I think you could sweep the series without him.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any chance it could get worse, then I mean, if he can play through it and it doesn't like it wouldn't get worse, then I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, if there's any chance it can get worse, but we say that, but if they go ahead and they squeak out Game 3, Orlando, then it's 2-1. With the momentum when Orlando's back, and all of a sudden, you're playing Game 4. Whether it's going to come back here an even series or not. So,
yeah, it's not happening. I mean, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if Orlando wins Game 3. The way they play offense, they just the Celtics can have a bad game, and like the goal is to get to 100 points. And if you get to 100 points, like your chances of winning against Orlando are really, really high.
The Celtics will be favored and probably should win. Orlando can beat this team without Tatum. And again, they can, and they could potentially win 2 without Tatum. So I don't look, if Brown doesn't have the night he has tonight, if White's not making those threes.
Yeah, but White's always making those threes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it could be 1-1. And because those two guys, as you brought up, it's not even like I think the Celtics are playing bad defense against them. They're just making plays. I mean, one of Banchero's threes, I thought Brown, I don't know if he could have covered it any better than he did. And
but that's the point, Jim. Like, they haven't had a bad game, those two.
No, they haven't.
They're going to.
Maybe.
And when that happens, like,
I just don't like to assume those things in the playoffs because we've seen guys just go nuts. Particularly against the Celtics. I think back to Ben Gordon in that Chicago series. Ben Gordon and Derrick Rose. I'm not sure they had a bad game that whole series. Way back when. What was that? That was
2010.
Yeah. What a series that was. But yeah, no, look, I think the Celtics, worst case scenario, they should come back to this 3-1. I think there's a real chance that they sweep them here. I mean, if Tatum plays in one of these games and is pretty healthy, I think there's a real chance they sweep him here. And I'm hoping they do because this is one. I want to get to the next point why I want this to be a quicker series. I don't know if the Magic are dirty, Mike.
Yeah, they are. What do you mean? Have you been watching?
But they are.
You don't know if they're dirty?
At worst, they are reckless. They are reckless the way they play, and maybe that is dirty. I mean, they're pushing guys on the back on layups.
Yeah, intentionally, Jim. I mean, the alley-oop to Luke Cornett in the first half, that's so dangerous what they did to him. And
that was Wagner, who, I mean...
then the drive by Jaylen Brown to the hoop when they shove him in the back, and then the same thing to KP, it was happening over and over again. They're fucking dirty. They tried to hurt Jayson Tatum, and they were successful.
It also happened to Pritchard, too, on a drive early in the game where I thought he was pushed in the back. And
then to see the coach complaining about fouls, and it's like, well, what the fuck are you complaining about? This is your guys before the game are talking about how like fouling is great and the Celtics are soft. We're getting in their heads, like just fucking dumb statements. The Celtics won the championship last year. You really think you were the 7th seed who's never been out of the first round or getting in the Celtics' head. And then number two, you're following them every single play, and you're bitching and complaining to the refs. It worked. The Celtics had no rhythm because they were going to the free throw line so much.
But they came out in the
like,
third with
it's
a ton of
fucking
rhythm,
dirty.
so
They're dirty.
I don't think it worked that well. I mean, the Celtics came out in third quarter with a ton of rhythm. Maybe the Celtics would have been cold in that first half, and they helped them out get into the line 20 plus times, which is a ridiculous number. I just the difference between the two teams is the Celtics have been very physical, in my opinion. I think the Celtics have matched the physicality, but they don't foul.
Yeah,
they defend without foul. The Magic can't, and they're reckless like that. Batase play. I don't think he meant to.
No, he didn't.
But he's flailing around like a lunatic.
That's why he got the flavor.
That's how they all play. Outside of the only one that doesn't play that way, it looks like is Banchero. Even we're going to spend some time on the KP file, the KCP file from game one. I want to go back to that in another segment here, but go back to game one with Cole Anthony. I thought what he did to Pritchard with the knee to thigh going over the screen. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Was borderline. It's borderline.
It's just so much of it. And I know you were saying like be above it, don't react. Like at some point, it's like the fucking Bam Adebayo for a 7-game series with the illegal screens. At some point, you got to fucking do something about it.
But it's not affecting their play. I mean, it's not. It's so far it has not been a deterrent to them winning. And
unless they injure another guy, Jim.
The best way they respond to this is by doing what you're doing. You put them away. You put them away. You don't get into stupid things where somebody gets suspended or you get into a melee. You just put this team away. You're better than them.
I guess I'd rather make a statement and see somebody get suspended than Jaylen Brown get hurt at the hoop because we didn't do anything to protect our star players.
Well, they may do that anyways, even if you do it.
I don't know. I think you got to react. I mean, you can't allow people to just play dirty and not do anything about it because they're going to continue to do it. I mean, they're actively trying to hurt people.
Well, I don't think the Celtics are backing down. I think the Celtics.
I don't think they're backing down.
Very physical, and I think they're getting after it. I think you can get yourself into some trouble if you go in that direction.
Yeah, I disagree. I think somebody needs to get hit at the rim.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's dirty. They're trying to hurt people. That's what they're trying to do. It's no secret. I mean, they're even basically saying it after the game, like what we did to Tatum was good. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Well, let's get into that, Mike. But first, we got
a break.
But first, we got to hear from our sponsors, and then folks that see us on YouTube, you're not gonna get any break at all. But on the pod, you're gonna hear from our sponsors right now.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
All right, Mike, let's get right into it. What happened?
Right into it. Thank you to our sponsors. What beautiful sponsors. Let's get right into it. Yeah.
What happened with KCP game one? Has your perception of because you didn't think it was a flagrant foul originally, but going back watching it and seeing everything, has your perception changed?
Yeah. Looked like he was grabbing his wrist and trying to hurt him. Yeah, wherever he was grabbing, it looked like he was trying to hurt him. He wasn't making a play for the ball, and our guy's out. So yeah, it was a dirty play, Jim.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he didn't go for the ball, and it wasn't a slap down. If you could see this on YouTube, he came over with his arm, he grabbed, and he pushed down. And I get it if that's the 80s, 90s, maybe you shrug your shoulder with that. But the attitude afterwards, Mike, which you kind of mentioned earlier in the pod, and then everything we've seen since with how they want to play. And what I forget what exactly the KCP say. Did it say something like, "I'm not going to change the way I play"? I didn't hear Al's comments or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. And then Cole Anthony was saying shit. They all were, and they were basically like, "This is the right way to play," and like blah blah blah. And I think the evidence is right there. The first and second quarter, Jim, it was just one dirty play after another. And in the first half, they were fouling Tatum a little hard in the first game, and that was dirty. They're a dirty team, and they've been a dirty team for a long time. You talk about Mo Wagner, who's not playing; he's dirty. His brother's always been dirty. This is their reputation. They're dirty. They're a dirty team. And
we actually talked about this on the pod a year ago when they had like the back-to-back games of the Garden on that mini playoff series. It was in the middle of the season, and we talked about the Wagner brothers actually kind of playing, where they toe that line and they go over it quite a bit.
Yep.
It was satisfying though. Like if you act like a tough guy in interviews, you make a play like that in game one, you better come out and back it up and play well.
No, he played like shit.
And he sucked.
And Cole Anthony sucked too.
They didn't even cover him from the 3-point line.
I know. This is a guy that's made a ton of big shots in his career.
Like KCP they did him. They're like, okay, shoot it. And they did not even challenge his shots. And I think he was 0 for 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you in a game, where you took out the best player of the game before, and you acted like that was your intent, even though you're trying to say it's not, but your attitude.
The crowd got to him. Yeah.
Yep. And he sucked. He sucked.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's the type of player that'll have home cooking. He'll play well at home. But
yeah,
they usually do, right?
In front of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck down there in that crazy Orlando Magic fan base.
But it was a dirty play. I mean, taking Jayson. You hate to see it, man. You hate to see. I mean, Tatum's never missed a playoff game. Yep. And we're missing one like this, and it's, I don't know. And the commentary locally on Jayson Tatum always sucked, and I think it's the other part I wanted to bring up today. I think it still sucks.
Well, I haven't heard. I've been away. So what has been?
A lot of Felger, Maz, and Jim Murray hinting at that he's soft, that he was soft when he was on the ground, being hurt. And they, everybody, the Joe Mazzulla not letting the trainer go out and telling Tatum to stay down, whatever that was with Mazzulla and Tatum is between them. But like they played that up big time. And then like Tatum's mom going back to the locker room, and like that's an excuse for them to like just rip on this guy some more. As a soft player, and it's fucking weird. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. How much they've hated this kid forever.
He stayed in the game. He played well. Finished out game one. So the talk was more about him than the actual play, and like,
yeah,
they didn't. They probably thought it was
his mom. How soft the league is,
Yeah,
which is just hints at how soft he is, and like. He hasn't missed a playoff game his entire career.
Yeah.
What the fuck are people talking about? It's
well, they're the same bunch, Mike, that called KG soft.
They called KG.
They called Kevin Garnett soft when he hurt his knee and he missed the playoffs. And if he could play through it, it's just a pain management thing. They kept saying, not really tough. It's that league. That was Felger for that. That really that's when I stopped listening. Like the insanity of how you can think number one, you can get in someone's body and know how they feel. Number two, with a guy like a reputation like KG's had at that point since he's come into the league, as just a lunatic and will do anything to win. All of a sudden, he's going to sit out the playoffs by choice. And then the same thing with Tatum. Hasn't missed games. Does whatever he can to play in games in February and March. You don't think he's going to be out there today if he could be? Like, you think he's faking it? Give me an example of when he's faked it.
Well, that's the thing.
Doesn't
Like
exist.
they ripped on him for like 2 days, and then today, like, didn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's really injured, so we're not even going to address it. They just,
Yeah. Hey, it's I guess it's what you get paid to do, is to have these bombastic opinions, and
it's so
you
goddamn
dumb down
predictable though,
the
because they're probably going to make fun of the KP stuff. Like, oh, the green team is overreacting, and he's soft, and well, this is such like not a big deal that he came back in the game. Hockey players do it all the time.
Okay. I don't care what they say.
It's so predictable.
KP is so much fun.
He is.
The dude is so much fun. Like, yeah, I love the way he comes into the arena. I love how he starts laughing after he's bleeding and pumps his hands up to the crowd. I love that he's laughing when he comes back in and there's blood like down the back of his head. He is, gosh, I just hope, God damn it, I hope he can stay healthy through this run, because he like, in a lot of other ways, he's perfect Celtic. He embraces his shit. He plays hard. Embraces the crowd, all that stuff, and he's so goddamn good. So hopefully he can play through it. I thought tonight was great. I thought that was awesome. I thought it was awesome. He's got the bandage and the blood streak going down his head. I love that they're saying his unicorn, whatever it's called, horn fell off. It was great. And this is like the second time in 3 weeks he's had like 5+ stitches.
Yeah, he had it on his nose. Excuse me, Jim. I'm starting to sound like RFK Jr. Yeah, he had it on his nose. Oh man, Jimmy Butler might have just got seriously injured, like real bad play. Sorry, I got my TV on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that was violent. Yeah, that was an awesome moment for KP. And this, again, just to reiterate, this is a tough, gritty win for the Celtics. To win a playoff game against a team that defends like Orlando without Jayson Tatum, not have that playmaking. Guys really stepped up all over the floor. And I look forward to game 3, Jim. Do you think your prediction is Jayson Tatum going to play? What do you think is going to happen Friday night?
I think he'll be back. One of these 2 games, he'll be back.
All right. Anything else that you want to cover on the pod tonight?
From this game, I can't think of anything. I think we're good. Anything from around the league or anything else, Mike, before we say goodbye to the?
Yeah, just a tough, gritty win by Detroit the other night. They're the type of team that I was really nervous for them that they were going to blow it again in the fourth quarter as a young team. Cade Cunningham really showed out, and that might be our best series, the Denver-LA series, and that Detroit-New York series. We could get a nice 7-game series there.
Sounds good, Mike. I guess I do want to close with something, and I'm going to tell everyone right now, this isn't going to be basketball related. I'm going to just switch quickly to world event.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
You're the perfect blend of elegance and style, and your ride should be no different. The 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid meets all your needs, from business to brunch and everywhere in between. With head-turning details like a sleek front end, plus stylish interior, and an available 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and seamless tech integration. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the new 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid.
And I have a platform.
Hey, you want to talk about the Death to America?
I want to use it, and I'm not gonna get into hyperbole here. I'm just gonna shoot you straight on what I think. You have a situation right now in this country where you have a president and administration authorizing arrest by force of immigrants in this country, and then sending them off to a foreign nation, to one of the worst prisons in the world, without any type of due process. I have no idea what type of people these people are that they're rounding up and arresting and sending away. I don't care. In America, you get due process. In America, you have a right to go in front of the judge and state your case. And the same administration right now is taking the right of toddlers to have lawyers at their hearings. The same administration is at the White House saying they want to have prosecutions against Americans based on the president's failings because certain Americans said bad things about him.
Yep.
Saying it in the Oval Office to his head of the DOJ. I don't have much more to say about this because it's a basketball podcast, but I'll just tell you right now that no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, if you have hardline immigration views, that's fine. The president actually has a lot of authorization legally to do things in immigration, things I may not like, but his legal rights, he has to do them more in the executive branch than anywhere else. What he's doing right now and talk about going after Americans, going after immigrants without due process, sending them to a dictator's prison is probably going to go down in history as one of our worst moments in modern history, post World War II.
Yeah.
And that should bother you. That should bother you. So that's Mike. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that, but that's all I got to say.
I don't want to be quiet on this issue. I mean, and they're gaslighting us in the fucking White House and lying about shit. Like the Supreme Court makes a decision and they just fucking lie right to our face. And Stephen Miller is a Nazi in a fucking suit here in America. And I'm not being quiet about it anymore. We're sending people to die in torture prisons in El Salvador. That's what's happening. And some of them are innocent. And that's just a fact. And the way we respond to things in America is very annoying that we're just reactive and not proactive to this stuff anymore, because it's not if Donald Trump's going to do this stuff, it's all a matter of when. And it's all happening right in front of us. So that's what I have to say about it. I have nothing good to say about this administration other than they're evil. And if you support it, that's too bad, because you're on the wrong side. Democracy's dying right in front of us.
Other than that, everything's peachy. Go Celtics. We'll talk to you soon for Game 3.
Yeah.